Good morning. This is the Wisconsin state statute that makes it unlawful for a person to carry a dangerous weapon if they're under the age of 18. Kyle Rittenhouse was under the age of 18, and a lot of people have been making the arguments that Kyle Rittenhouse was illegally carrying his AR-15. Now, again, this is a red herring, but because this keeps getting brought up so much, I just figured I'd make a video on it. That way I could just link to this video every time some ignoramus brings it up. I'm going to use Will Chamberlain. He's the one who first broke it down that I saw. So I'm going to use him, give him credit, and he has some nice slides to use. This is the actual webpage for Wisconsin. It's wisconsin.gov. This is the actual statute. I have verified all these statutes that Will Chamberlain references in his slides. He is using the actual statutes. So the first thing is possession of a dangerous weapon with or by a person under 18. A dangerous weapon means any firearm. So that makes it appear that it applies. A person under the age of 18 who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse is under the age of 18. He was walking around with a firearm, which is a dangerous weapon. So he was possessing or going armed with a dangerous weapon. So it appears, if you stop there, if you can't read the whole statute, it appears that Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty because he violated this section of the Wisconsin state statutes. However, down here in subsection 3C, this section, this whole thing, 948.60, is a section. So this section applies only to a person under the age of 18 years of age who possesses or is armed with a rifle or shotgun so we know that he was armed with a rifle. So this whole section, 948.60, only applies to him if he's in violation of section, S stands for section, 941.28, or is not in compliance with sections, SS means sections, 29.304 and 29.593. So he has to be in violation of one of those three statutes. The rest of it just goes on to say that adults who transfer them to persons under 18 years of age have to also be in compliance with the same three statutes, or not in violation of the same three statutes. So what are those three statutes? The first one of those three statutes is 941.28, possession of a short-barreled shotgun or short-barreled rifle. A short-barreled rifle, he was carrying a rifle, means a rifle having one or more barrels, having a length of less than 16 inch, measured from a closed breech or bolt face to muzzle, or a rifle having an overall length of less than 26 inches. He appeared to be carrying a standard AR-15, which would have a 20-inch barrel. It was likely well in excess of 26 inches. I don't believe that applies. No one has made the argument that it applies, so there you go. But that would be a Class H felony. He has not been charged with possession of a short-barreled rifle. I don't believe it was a short-barreled rifle. Again, it appeared to be a standard AR-15. The next section is restrictions on hunting and use of firearms by persons under 16 years of age. Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 years of age. This statute does not apply. It literally applies to people who are younger than him. And finally, the requirement for certificate of accomplishment to obtain hunting approval. He's not hunting. He didn't need this. The joke would be that he is hunting commies, and the obvious answer to that is communists are varmints. You don't need a hunting permit to shoot varmints on your own land. Anyway, finally, this is a little bit different. One other argument that I have been making is that the Second Amendment applies to Kyle Rittenhouse specifically. And the Second Amendment does not set an age limit. There is no age limit in the text of the Second Amendment. It just says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, we know shall not be infringed doesn't mean that it can't be infringed at all. We know that. We know that from the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. Well, obviously, they do make laws abridging the freedom of speech. There are laws that infringe on your Second Amendment, and that's because it doesn't make any rational sense to read the Second Amendment as allowing, let's say, psychopathic murderers who are in prison to keep and bear arms. It just doesn't make sense. So in order to read this reasonably, obviously there are going to be some persons who are going to be denied access to firearms, the criminals, the insane, and then where you go from there is really up to what is a reasonable interpretation. That's unfortunately the way it is. I know some people are going to cry about it, but that's the way it is. However, as far as Kyle Rittenhouse is concerned, 10 U.S.C. 246 states that the militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied, Kyle Rittenhouse was able-bodied, males, Kyle Rittenhouse is a male, at least 17 years of age, Kyle Rittenhouse is at least 17 years of age, and except as provided in Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age. Section 313 of Title 32 extends the upper limit to age 64 for certain persons, but he is obviously under 64 and under 45, so it still applies to him, who are citizens of the United States. He is a citizen of the United States. It also applies to female citizens who are members of the National Guard. But anyway, he is literally a member of the militia. Now, we know from Heller versus the District of Columbia that the Second Amendment doesn't only apply to people who are in militias, but it also applies to people who may enter into militias, who may be called into militias, and it applies to self-defense. So, but it's even stronger when you make the argument that Kyle Rittenhouse is literally a member of the militia of the United States. Congress has made that decision. That's my argument, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.